September the 11th, they marched through our town centre, celebrating with police presence there, walking along with them. Now, when England was at war with the IRA, there would never have been 20 Irishmen allowed to stand in the town centre and recruit for the IRA. So why are these people being allowed to do it? Because they're hiding behind their Muslim religion, because our government and our councils are so scared of them, and they bend over backwards to appease everything for them.
I think our viewers might also find it shocking. You're saying that on September 11th...
They celebrate every year.
Yes.
They celebrate every single year. And then when you have your minute silence, if there's any Asians in the town, wherever they are, bam, 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 they make noise, they cheer. They march every September the 11th and celebrate. And it's not in the media, it's not on the news, it's nowhere. So we're in the town centre, we see it. If we try and oppose that, we'll be arrested for some stupid religious or racial crime.
By coincidence, the day before we came here to interview you, there was an incident in the town. What was that incident about?
Basically, because the English Defence League group is in the media, they're portraying it as being set up by local football groups across the country. So I think there's now 50 different divisions in Britain. All different football clubs have got their own divisions of English Defence League, which is groups across the country joining up and uniting as one to oppose Muslim extremists, because there is no opposition to it. And basically in Luton, 60 young Muslims run into the local pub, which is where the local football team supporters drink, and they randomly, racially attack everyone.
And I want to explain to our viewers, what is a football club?
It's a soccer club. David Beckham, you've seen in America. It's where, basically, in England, I know you have all your sports out there, in England, everything's football.
So basically, in
soccer, yeah.
In the town of Luton, you have clubs that are set up, and you have certain football fans that go to certain clubs.
Yeah, when Luton play, we have certain pubs like the White House pub in Luton Town Centre. It's the main pub where Luton Towns, which is the soccer club, will go and drink after the game. So because of all the media saying that this is on all the national news saying that the group, the English Defence League, they're labelling us far right and racist, which we're not. But because they say that and they're football clubs, then the young Muslims have targeted and attacked a football club where people are drinking.
Do you have a fear that England will become Islamic?
It's a mathematical fact.
And why would that be?
That would be because they have 10 children and we have 2. If you just look, like I remember when, say the junior school that I went to, the junior school that I went to, when I went there was no Muslims. Now if I drive past that junior school, there's not one non-Muslim. It is all Muslims. So you take another 10, 15 years, and then that will be the same with the high school. So within 20, 30 years, every single school in the town we're coming from will be Muslim, because all the kids are Muslim. And they're even converting through us. Our Christian doctrines tell us to take one wife and raise a family. And maybe 20 years ago, there might be 4 children in that family. Now it's 2, whereas Muslims can take 4 wives, 10 kids each wife, and have 10 children for each wife. That's 40 children. And basically, that's a lot of benefits being drained out. If you just say, all I go back to is grassroots. If you just go back to school when you're at school and you sit in the school dinner table, you look around the dinner table, you've got black kids sitting with Sikhs, sitting with Indians, sitting with Chinese, sitting with Jews, everyone integrating English, everyone sitting together, integrating, having their dinner. In the corner, you've got 4 Muslim tables. Because even in school, they don't want to integrate. They do not want to know you. They do not want to be friends with you. They're not allowed to. They call us the Kappa. They're taught not to be. They're taught not to. The school went to close down for 3 days for race riots. The school. It's for kids of 14 and 15 at school. They had to close it down for 3 days for race riots. And we're a peaceful movement. We would like reform rather than revolution. We're pro-government. We're pro-British police. Pro-British police. When then, and to be fair to the police, they have caught up. When in our town, the Islamic radicalisation of our town started probably in the 60s, first invading of the Cold War in 1991. A friend of mine was stabbed to death by 10 Asians who was attempting to take away. Sorry, I say Asians, Indians, Chinese, not Pakistani Muslims, stabbed to death when he was a child and finally taken away. We all believe these widows saying it was a racially motivated attack. However,
we had Abdul Hamza in the town from 1993 to 94. My friend was killed in 94. So in the town, you always have a bit of friction, but prior to the Gulf War invasion, it was just loosely just friction with other groups, but radicalisation and at that stage, I thought to myself, where is all this hate coming from? I wasn't fully clear at the time, and basically, come from, and over preceding years, basically groups started springing out in the town because the right arm was redeemed, they were very vociferous, and they actually was suspended out telling us not to run. It was not to come out drunk and behaving disgustingly. For example, ladies wearing silhouette skirts, so boys coming out, you know, just going through their endless years, having 2 years, going out enjoying themselves. The cars were put up, and they said that went on for about 10 to 12 years, and it only took probably 1998 before I honestly realised it was orchestrated and the penny dropped with me that they were implementing law on our streets.
Are the hockey stick beatings still going on?
To be fair, but something must have happened. I don't know what, but something like they must have been called in the main boss.
Since when they done that when they done the protest against the soldiers, that was the turning point we feel in our town. We had our first demonstration, and on our second demonstration there was 500, 600, 700 of young lads, all English. It was the first time English people took to the streets and said enough is enough here. We're not having it anymore. Every estate feels it. Every estate knows what's going on. We're being beaten back by Muslims, militant Muslims. We have been for 10 years. And then when people took to the streets, I know that there was one of their main mosques was blown up. And basically, I think they felt the heat and the backlash. And then all the moderate Muslims started coming out and saying how they started condemning the extremists, which they hadn't done for 10, 15 years. They started coming out and uniting against the extremists. But we said that that's 10 years too late. And you're coming out now because you've felt heat and backlash for 6 weeks because of what happened to our soldiers. So our community has been giving you a backlash for 6 weeks. We have been receiving a religious onslaught backlash for 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. And we felt the silence of the moderate voice in Islam in our town, the silence of it we felt after the catalyst was the soldiers. We felt the silence was that they were condoning what was going on, and the silence became unbearable in the end. And basically,
the soldiers was a final straw. Everyone said enough's enough. We don't care. We'll go on the streets. We'll get arrested. Whatever happens, we don't care. We're not. That was everyone said it. Everyone, it hits everyone personal. It has done. Everyone's had money into what's gone on. But when they done that to soldiers who have been out, lost comrades, fighting at the war, putting their life on the line for the freedom of them Muslims as well, and then to come back and meet that sort of welcoming, it just, I think it was the final straw. It seems to have been for a lot of the country when that happened, because the fact is they were allowed to do it, and the council allowed them to do it, because the council are that scared of saying no, you can't do it, because they won't say no to them. And then you also have to look at our local council. 30% of the MPs in our local council are Muslim. So was it a Muslim who made the decision to allow them to have that protest against our soldiers? Was it a Muslim? And then when we applied for St George's Day Parade, which is our Saints' Day, we applied for a parade in our own town on our Saints' Day, St George's Day in England, and they said, no, you're not allowed. So you're not allowed to march on your Saints' Day, you're not allowed anything. So then you have to ask yourself, was it a Muslim in Luton Borough Council who made that decision? Are Muslim, have Al-Qaeda sympathisers infiltrated our council? And how many councils across our country now have got Muslims, people, sitting on it in MPs making decisions for them towns, political decisions as to, let's close down that church and open it as a mosque? Who's making them decisions? Are they Muslims? Because it seems that they've got into the infrastructure of the country through voting. And now, who's voicing our concerns? Who's our voice for our community? Now everyone says about all the racial things and the BNP and that. How can any of us stand and agree with the BNP when some of our best friends are here who are black and the BNP won't let a black man join? But at the same time, who's going to voice our concerns, our family's concerns for militant Islam that's taken over our town? Because as soon as anyone speaks up against it, they're called a racist. So it's like we're pressed into silence about it all.
So basically, you have three factors going against you: the militant Islamists who want to set you up, the police who will not and the local council who has decided to favor the Islamists in
basically, it's just a fact. When the Muslims have done that, done their attack on the soldiers, yeah? 10 of them done it. They done it, and then we held our protest 4 weeks later. With they, after our first protest, they kicked all of our doors off, which we did. They done us all onto the parade, and they arrested us in public order square. They kicked our doors off at 5 o'clock in the morning. They come in our families' houses, they dragged us out of our bed, and they arrested us for swearing. And then they gave us banning orders from our local town centre, 24 hours a day, because they didn't want us at any future marches. They arrested just one person from every estate in our town, because every estate was in the town centre. They arrested one person in order to put fear into all the estates and think, well, we better not go to the next one because we're going to get arrested. Then, 2 days after that, just to be politically correct, they then arrested the Muslims who protested against our soldiers. Now, they protested against our soldiers 4 weeks before our march, so why were we arrested first, kicked off our doors? We already know that they wouldn't kick their doors off. So they politely knocked on their doors, took their shoes off, asked their women to cover their head, and then walked in their houses. But they come around our mums and dads' houses, with our babies in our houses, and kick our doors off for standing in our own town centre to condemn extremism.
And they arrested you for what?
Public order, saying in the town centre, let us fucking march. They come around and booted our doors off for that. We all knew. No, they've dropped all the charges on everyone they arrested. It was just a pure fear factor. Let's scare them into shutting up. But it didn't work. It just made people think more like, well, we're not going to shut up because there is a problem in our town and someone needs to voice the concern, because it's a mathematical fact. 10 years ago in Luton they may have been 50 extremists. Now, because they've been allowed to run around the town doing whatever, preaching whatever, without no one stopping them, there's 500. Another 10 years there'll be 5,000. If every father is bringing up their children, if they've got 10 kids, if they support Al-Qaeda, their 10 children will support Al-Qaeda. And they're breeding and bringing them up militant to hate us. None of us in our communities are brought up to hate any other community.
We brought our children
tolerant
to say hacking was a swear word. My generation brought their children up to say hacking was a swear word, and we were unaware that they were bringing their children up, calling us kafurs. Whereas we were unaware of that. Their children were taught that from the age of 3. And I think people need to know that we are bringing our children up correctly, not being racist, being able to communicate with other people, other religions, people with cohesive society. People do need to know. Not everybody out there is doing the same.
I take it Paki is short for Pakistan.
Pakistan, but it's seen as a racial slur.
You'd be arrested for saying it. So you call someone from India an Indian.
You'll be arrested for saying the word Paki?
Yeah.
By who?
By the police.
By the police.
It's against the law.
By the way,
Is it against the law to say infidel or kafir?
no, that's entirely my point, what I was trying to make. We were teaching our children the wrongs. We were teaching them the rights and not to do the wrongs. However, basically, then there's been a swing round now where they actually are wearing shirts, the Muslims are wearing shirts with the word Paki written on it. And so we don't want to say that word, but if we were to say that word, then we'll be arrested. However, if a Pakistani...
What was that demonstration about?
Basically, 6 weeks after the demonstration against our soldiers in Luton by the jihadist group Al-Mujahideen, which are a worldwide known terrorist organisation, Omar Bakri, Saif al-Islam, and Jem Chowdhury, all worldwide known figures in terrorism. 6 weeks after doing it against our soldiers, they held a demonstration in Birmingham City Centre, which was given permission by Birmingham City Council, and British police were standing next to them whilst they were doing it, and they had a massive sign which said Jesus was a Muslim in the middle of the city centre, which in itself is inciting religious hatred anyway. So they had a massive sign, so they're breaking the law, and the police are standing there doing nothing about it again, and there are scores of Muslim men in Muslim dress shouting Allah Akbar, etc, etc, and Jem Chowdhury took an 11-year-old Christian boy called Sean, 11 years old, being under the age of criminality, i.e. he doesn't know what he's doing at the age of 11 properly. He's in the middle of the city centre, just shopping, going about his normal day. And they took him up on a stage and they made him convert in the middle of the city centre to Islam. They said, repeat after me. And they made the 11-year-old boy who stood there with his hood up, a little white child called Sean, they give him a new Islamic name, They made him swear allegiance to Allah, and they converted him to Islam in the middle of the city centre without his parents' permission, without anyone's permission, in full view of British police, under a banner saying Jesus was a Muslim. Now, things like this are going on across every city, across our country, and this group that done this is part of, they are touring the country doing an Islamic roadshow, which is where they tour the country and they convert people into us, infidels, non-Muslims. And our point was, how can this group, 6 weeks after spitting in our soldiers' faces and causing near-on riots and wars in the town where we live, be given permission in the second capital of England, Birmingham, by the council to stand and incite religious hatred in full view of the general public and convert a child without his parents' permission? And everyone sat back and thought, right, let's see now what the police do about this. The police should have run in and smashed them and arrested them for even for just having a sign saying Jesus was a Muslim. They should have been arrested, but they weren't. So everyone sat back and thought, right, let's wait now for the police to arrest Anjem Chowdhury for interfering with our children in the middle of that city centre, and they didn't. So from that stemmed another. That was then the catalyst for what was a Luton issue to then become a national issue and say, right, instead of this English Defence League, let's take it to Birmingham. And let's get on the streets of Birmingham and let's let Birmingham City Council know and the people of Birmingham know that we are not having Anjem Chowdhury convert our children in our city centres without our parents' permissions, because they're not doing it. And the police may want them to do it and the council may allow them to do it, but we're not going to allow them to do it. So then we went to Birmingham, and the first protest, which was peaceful, approximately 150 people turned up. They were met with riot police. And it was just a voice of anger at what had happened, and the police wouldn't let them march anywhere. So then we organised another protest. We said, right, we're going to go back to Birmingham this time, better organised, with banners, clearly stating who we are, what our message is, the point we're trying to prove. We went back to Birmingham, and the media and the far left, a Labour-funded group called United Against Fascism, which is a group that are supposed to oppose racists. They spread a lie across everywhere that we are a racist organisation, a white supremacist group, which clearly we're not, because we're best friends with blacks, we have many Indians, we're not far right, we're not racist, we're not National Front, but they spread this myth across the whole city, that across everywhere, that we're these racists are coming to Birmingham. Not that we're coming to Birmingham to oppose Anjem Chowdhury, who is a worldwide known jihadist who converted an 11-year-old kid under a banner saying Jesus was Muslim. That story never come out. It just come out that, oh, these racists are coming to Birmingham. So when we got to Birmingham, local MPs, Muslim MPs, come out on the streets of Birmingham and they organised the United Against Fascism march, which the Muslim MP basically stood there with 500 Muslims, and she stood there. She works for Birmingham City Council. She stood there saying, these are our streets, and she provoked and incited all of these young Muslims so much. She kept saying, we're going to smash the racists. This is a member of government who done this. We're going to smash the racists. Now, they're having their protest in one street. We're half a mile around the corner having our protest. And on our protest, we held up banners clearly to state to people, we're not racist. We have all English Defence League, all basically saying that black and white unite. People, the black and white people of Britain, unite against extremism. We also held banners up saying we hate Nazis as much as we hate Muslim extremists, which we do. So we're standing around the corner. Then we had many others saying no more Sharia law, England will never fall to Islam.
England will not become another Lebanon.
Yeah, England will not become another
We have that
Lebanon.
fear too.
We have that fear. So we had all these banners made, professionally made, and we met in Birmingham City Centre, and we're standing there with all these banners. There's approximately 150 of us again in the city centre, standing there united against extremism, and round the corner are young Muslims being incited by members of government to smash us. And what happened after that was the 500 Muslims run through the streets, attacking anyone that was non-Muslim, beating them till they're on their... There's videos all over the internet, beating them until they're unconscious on the floor. There's pictures in the local papers, and the picture in the local paper, is of 20 Muslims kicking. You can hardly see the boy. The boy's unconscious on the floor, a white boy, and they're jumping on his head and they're kicking him. And under the picture it says, a fascist is attacked by anti-fascist campaigners. So, a fascist with Islamic extremists. And
they whipped them up all day and whipped them up, and it just reminded me of something that might have been out in the Middle East in, say, Iran. The way they were whipped up into a frenzy, and it's not rocket science. You know, you whip up somebody up into a frenzy, it takes them a long time to come back down again, especially if they're standing in a group of 500. So they were well orchestrated, they knew what was going on that day, and we were protesting peacefully, and when we got our banners out, it was obvious then
we weren't racist.
The BNP hadn't come to town, it was just a group of people that got together, they'd had enough, we were on the cutting edge of things, and I'm asking the big question that no one else is asking.
Stop what is going on in our country. Someone stop it. How are you allowing fanatical extremists to stand in our city centres? Our soldiers are out dying by the numbers every single day, getting blown up, fighting in foreign lands, and there are people standing in Britain recruiting to kill us and sending things out to the enemy to kill us. They are committing treason in our streets, and we're all standing there. Everyone's been saying it for 10 donkey's years. Who's going to stop this? Why are the British government not stopping it? The police are too scared of them. No one's stopping it. So we come out and united together in a way of saying, right, we want to be a voice against these extremists. And what they try to do is physically attack us into scaring us into silence. So we now should be, we're going back to Birmingham. We'll be back there on the 5th of September, and we'll be there. Our numbers will double, our numbers will treble. And if it sparks riots, then because they try and attack us again, it sparks riots. But we're not going to be. We're not going to be scared into silence. We're going to be demonstrating peacefully. We'll be peaceful. Our last protest was peaceful. You can see the videos of it on the internet. You can see the videos of it on our website, English Defence League. We're a peaceful group. We're a peaceful group.
Like the great Martin Luther King, like Gandhi, we'd rather follow their doctrines than preachers of hate doctrines. We are peaceful, and we believe these balaclavas that protect our lives are no more sinister than the veil. And that's what we believe, but we are a peaceful group, and we do follow the great peaceful leaders in our time, like I said, Martin Luther King. All the great leaders, all the great leaders of the people, and that is the route we want to take, and we reserve the right, living in a democratic country, to stand there and demonstrate peacefully without being attacked like we were on the streets of Birmingham.
And on the streets of Birmingham, they arrested 34 of our protesters. 34 for nothing. For nothing. They arrested 21 in one group as they come off the train. What they've done is we went up there. They held us in a car park for 4 hours. They took our shoes off. This is when we got to Birmingham, and we're there for a peaceful protest, our democratic right to stand and protest. They stopped all of our groups entering into the city. So they blocked the train stations, they blocked the bus stations, and any groups who were coming in to support us, they basically held and detained for 4 hours, 5 hours. They just arrested them. And then what they've done is they allowed the Muslims to meet up in massive numbers, arm themselves with weapons through there was no police presence to stop them. They stopped us, and then they let them just rampage through, and now there are pictures everywhere of them attacking innocent people. And we all know none of them are going to be arrested. Now they were burning the British flag in the middle of Birmingham city centre. Now you reverse the roles and say the English Defence League did go to Birmingham and started innocently jumping on Muslims' heads and burning Pakistani flags. The whole country would be uproar. Now our people, British people, have been attacked because they are non-Muslim in Birmingham by extremists who are funded by our government. It's ludicrous and it's mad to even talk about it, but it is going on and it's a fact. And what we're trying to do now is we've gone from Luton, we've now gone to Birmingham. Our support is getting massive in Birmingham. Our numbers are doubling, trebling. We know that by the time we go to Manchester, which is up the north of England, and protest there, our support will be massive, because we are talking sense. There's nothing. People may want to stop us and silence us, but from what? From saying get terrorists off our streets. This is Britain. This is England. This is not Pakistan. We're not conforming to your law. You're coming here and conforming to our law. Where's the sense? We know we're talking sense. We know we're talking pro-government, pro-law. They completely disregard our law. So we're living in a two-rule society. It's one rule for Muslims and one rule for us. And we feel in towns where you like Luton, where you have got massive Muslim populations, the non-Muslims are being oppressed. We are being oppressed. We're being treated unfairly all the time.
Yeah, and the MPs will not sort of speak up for us because they want the block Islamic
They want the
vote.
Islamic vote, yeah. So
They have been held to ransom basically because they're going to lose they're told they're going to lose the vote. Probably behind closed doors, but that's the only conclusion we
yeah.
can come up.
Like in the town of Luton, where we've got 15 mosques, all the mosques can come together. They've got one voice. 50,000 Muslims. You will vote for Labour. Okay, we'll build another 5 mosques and we'll do whatever you want as long as you vote for Labour. They'll then come out and they'll vote for Labour. So we're losing because of that. We're losing all the time, but
It doesn't help when history states the extreme left want to overthrow the status quo, and they always align themselves with groups that are sympathetic towards that cause too. And Birmingham that day, on the 8th of August, the extreme left aligned themselves
against the extremism.
against British people because they want revolution, and that's what they want. So to say, like,
And when after our first protest, which is in Birmingham, which was a peaceful protest, there was no racism, there was nothing. There was just chants of we want our country back and get terrorists off our streets, etc. The next week, all these Muslim MPs across the whole of Birmingham come out in papers saying we need to stop the English Defence League coming back to Birmingham. We need to stop these casual strikes. Now, where the hell were all of these Muslim MPs when 11-year-old Sean was being converted to Islam in the middle of a city centre under a banner saying Jesus was a Muslim? Where were they? They weren't coming out condemning it. They weren't saying nothing. It's the point entirely. They don't come out and condemn their own. No, even if they believe they're wrong, they don't come out and say it.
How did they get the 11-year-old boy off the street?
They stand there. They had a big stool, loads of Islamic men. They're giving out literature on Islam, but it's not. The point of it is that
But where were the parents?
the parents by now he's just 11 years old shopping. He's in the city centre with his friends. No parents. He's just out.
He's out with his friends.
But you've let your child.
There's all CCTV'd up. It's generally a safe. You assume it's safe, so you just let your child go down and do a little bit of shopping. When I was 11 and 12, it was. My town was. I could go down to town centre at 11. Now you have to run a call how much you're doing.
And the point being that these Islamists, if a moderate Muslim would convert an 11-year-old child without his parents' permission, it's wrong. But when a fanatical jihadist is converting an 11-year-old, grooming him to be some fanatical suicide bomber or whatever, then how is that happening in our city centres, in full view of our police? They're allowing it. And there's no, when they've done the demonstrations against the soldiers, if we didn't unite on the streets and show a force and say we're not allowing it, then what's next? Would they be at our soldiers' funerals? If we don't stop them from taking our children in our city centres like Birmingham, what's next? Are they going to come in our houses and take our children? If there's no force to stop them, because the British police aren't stopping them, they should be arrested, thrown in cells, bring back internment. You speak up and start inciting people against our country and against our soldiers, put them in a jail cell, deport them. They shouldn't be here. They've got no right to be here. So people who've got sons and daughters fighting in the British Army getting killed, leaving orphans and children to no families, and you've got people gloating, standing, supporting Al Qaeda in the same city, living around the corner from them. We're living with an enemy within who hate everything about us, and everything this great country stands for. They oppose it. So leave it. And if the British government, if they took the stance of arresting them and dealing with them how they should be dealt with as jihadists, fanatical racists and extremists, they should be dealt with that. If they took that, there would be no English Defence League, because we would have no need. But the point is, we've got children. This is we've got children. It's our children's future. The future I see for my children growing up in a place like Luton is bad. It's very bad, being non-Muslim. I can see it, and that's why so many people now in Muslim areas are just conforming to Islam. They're converting. You see the conversion rates yourself. Because if you can't beat it, join it.
You haven't got the finances to leave that area.
And the other thing they do is they get it's all in the prisons. They convert in the prisons. So what they do is they already know that generally people in prison are prepared to break the law. They are proportionally mad because they're in jail, so they don't care about the law anyway. So if they can convert them sort of people into Islam, then they have got an army of already.
Well, which they've got in Luton, they're called the Mad Mullahs. They call
Yeah,
them the Mad
Mad
Mullahs, and they're all converts, and everyone knows that the converts are always the most keenest to prove themselves. And that's why they call converts. If you're going to fear anybody, you fear the converts.
Defend you. Because they're a gang. They're a gang. If say we're in Luton Town Centre and I start fighting a young Muslim, it doesn't matter if it's a taxi driver or a chicken shop worker. Every Muslim in the road, no matter who it will be, they don't know that Muslim, but they will get out of the car and they will join in to defend that Muslim. Just the way they're brought up. They're not brought up like that. And they are brought up like that. They're an army.
We're brought up with the sense of fair play. Yeah. Stand back, even if somebody from our religion is setting some command for each street that's out a face-to-face man-to-man diplomacy. It's not dealt back the other way like that.
I think British people are here to protect British people, and our plan is to travel the country where people have got problems in cities like Luton, where the governments and councils aren't listening. We know now, after taking to the streets in Luton, we caused such an uproar in the town, and the Muslim community and the police and the council were so worried about what was going to happen next as a fear of riots, which isn't the way it should be. Because they feared it, they will never allow them extremists to do what they were doing in Luton. We already know now with one, that group, Al Mujahideen, will not be allowed in Luton Town Centre again because of what we've done on the streets. And now, after Birmingham, and they're seeing near-on full-scale riots, Birmingham Council probably now will not allow Anjan Chowdhury to convert 11-year-old kids in the city under a banner saying Jesus was a Muslim. So the protests and the marches are like, wherever they do so, we'll go and keep up such a fuss and make so much noise that the council will be too scared to allow military to come. Because if military come to be thoroughly.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.